Hello everybody, Brandon from Fussy Maple here, and today we're going to be going over the reboxing of Dragon Eclipse by Awakened Realms. Now, with this box, this is the first time I've seen it, but it does come with a set of unboxing instructions. So, this is decently put together. The purpose of this video is just to start the reboxing series where I like to work from the bottom up, and I can kind of give a visual representation of how this process goes and kind of help everybody out. So of course, it does say 30 to 40 minutes to complete. You honestly can do it quicker. It's just that is pretty much the time it takes. This is for the core box and one of the stretch goals that it comes with. Whenever it comes to the expansion box, Untamed Arena, let's see, the No Misslings Left Behind and stuff like that, they are not really utilized in this core box. They possibly can be, depending on how you want to set up your box or how far you want to stuff it. But today we're going to be going over the core box, which this is just the top for it. We're going to be going over the core box and how that's set up. So first and foremost, what you're going to be setting up is your card tray. The first instruction is remove all items from cards and not necessarily to unpack them then. So this is your card tray. You have your small cards over here with your dividers in the back that aren't necessarily used. And as you see here, you have all your different cards here. Now, the gist of this section, these are all your misslings. They're in alphabetical order. And then as you go through, you'll take the divider. It'll show the name. You'll play the missling cards. It'll typically tell you how many cards are in each set. And then you'll have item cards that apply to that missling. So all of them will have the name up top the card to kind of show you who you belong with. So you have this setup right here. And as you go back, it's just all in alphabetical order. Whenever it comes to the youngs or the renowns, those are not in alphabetical order, i.e. as in like with the Ys, but that secondary name. So your young bulb is going to be with bulb. Now, how the decks are organized whenever they're packaged is you'll see these cards on the front. And let's see if I can find... Okay, you'll see them on the front and on the back. So you'll have your 1.1 missling cards front, and if you flip around that deck of cards, you will see, let me fix myself here, you'll see all missling cards 1.1 back. And the way they have you do it is they have you start with, you'll start with the ones and you'll stack 1.2 on top of 1.1 and then 1.1 on top of that. And basically that creates your deck that keeps them in alphabetical order. You'll remove these cards, of course. You'll have the dividers in their own separate area. And as you pull through, you'll just match the name with the divider and place them in as such. Then you'll move on over to the action cards, which once again will have their own separate front and back cards. And that's just to help you orient the cards whenever you're stacking them. So that way, as you're setting them up in alphabetical order, they're kind of already there. Other than that, you will have your arena cards that you'll set up. You will have your adventure deck, lock cards, unlock cards, which it kind of explains that a little bit later on. And then I use the back here for the extra cards. The kind of player reference guides, as well as the foil pack that came extra. So those are just kind of in back. The small cards are pretty much done the same way. One thing I will note, now I got the deluxe Bethany got the deluxe all-in edition of this game. So if that's what you get, the numbers that are listed on here may not be the same as the numbers that you get. But basically, all your small cards go. They're all going to be grouped together. You have your item cards. You will have, let's see, what are these? These are your equipment. I believe these are the tier cards before I even bring them out. Yep, you have your tier cards. And those just kind of get stacked in here with the dividers and back. This is a campaign style game, so this box will develop as you go through the storylines. So that's why they will tell you to put a couple of dividers in the back. They're not used currently because they're going to be used as you're playing the game. So this is how I separated out most of my cards. That will go in the bottom of the box because it is the heaviest. Place that in there nice and gently, lids on there. And then that is the first component done. And in all honesty, whenever it comes to the 30 to 40 minutes, this is most of your time. Now, one thing that they don't really have much description on is the components. The setup instructions does say to organize them how you see fit. I used a video to kind of show this, but I basically mimicked them where all my elemental tokens are together. You have your hit point tokens here, which as you guys can see, these are incredibly small tokens that you do punch out. So do be careful with that. But this is the way I organized mine. That made the most sense to me. But whenever it comes to how you set up your game, it's pretty much up to you. So you'll place that in. Notice how Dragon Eclipse, they're facing the same direction to make that pocket. Now, that pocket is for this. This bin is used in-game. So like I said, if you want to stuff this core box with as many cards as you can, you probably can fit more expansions in here using this. But this is supposed to be used more in-game. So just for storage, we just kind of place it in and leave it. Or, sorry about that, this goes in sideways. Goes in sideways. Now, another thing it tells you to set up is if you have the special edition, you'll have your binder, or you'll have all the different card sleeves that you put in. It does say put them in numeric order. So you'll see the different page numbers kind of go through, because these numbers don't necessarily go in order. But this is used later as you play the game, but for initial setup, you'll leave that empty. So I place that down in there, just as so. And pretty much everything else is self-explanatory. You have your miniatures. Right here, we get the Sundropped edition. So we just place those in. Got another tray of miniatures. Make sure all of that kind of goes nice and dandy. Let me move my lid right here, because other than that, I do have my adventure books. So I have adventure journal, as it's called. And I always like to, you have your other binder right here. I always try to organize this in a way to where the spirals of the spiral bound don't necessarily line up with each other. They kind of can use that empty space to where they're not stacking to create a little bit of lid lift. From there, you do have your adventure journal. You have your arenas, your status sheets. Usually place that in there, and then I'll place my rule book and my starting instructions in here as well, just so I can kind of go back just in case I have any questions. With that, we'll put the lid back on. And that is Dragon Eclipse, at least for the core box, all set up. Now, one thing I will mention, there was a bunch of the booster packs with the deluxe edition that came out. I did decide to use this to kind of store them, so that way whenever we put it in our shelf, we kind of have a area to store everything. For those of y'all that did not order the deluxe edition, you do get these sleeves, and these are meant to be the builders for your booster packs. So basically, you'll put the cards in here as they instruct, kind of fold it up, and you have these as reusable booster packs instead of the Pokemon style. So that's my video for reboxing of Dragon Eclipse. I'm going to try to have everything segmented chapters, so if you guys want to go back to a specific level. But whenever it comes to Awakened Realms especially, this game honestly was not that difficult. Like I said, whenever it comes to all the large cards, it's all the mislings, and they're following action cards set up behind the misling cards, all in alphabetical order, set up by the dividers of each of their own. Your extra cards are behind that, and whenever it comes to your small cards, they're just organized by type, whether it's item, equipment, tier, anything of that sort. Looking to make more videos like this in the future. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have a great day. Bye.